listening to stuff has never been so enjoyable. If you had the misfortune to have been born after 1990, then you missed out on a lot of cool stuff. Then Is Now Podcast is here to remedy that. Join Rigor and his dedicated band of rotating hosts as they tackle pop culture of the past and how it relates today. From celebrity interviews to film and TV discussion and beyond, Then Is Now Podcast brings you up to speed on all the cool stuff that you should know about. Plus, the East meets the West. If you enjoy movies that have lots of shooting and fighting, then there's a whole world of films out there that you don't even know about. Join our hosts on a journey as they discuss the amazing kung fu films of the Shaw Brothers and Western films made in Italy that have become known as spaghetti westerns. Action, adventure, kung fu fighting. Both shows and more can be found at havenpodcasts.com. Warning, may cause nostalgic feelings and eliminate boredom. Okay, folks, here we are. And I just muted my camera again by accident. So welcome. We've got this up on a separate, what do you call it? Oops. I'm looking for my notes here, but we've got this video special going. This is our first one. This is our first one, so there's going to be mistakes here and there. I apologize in advance. Basically, I'm sorry, hold on. I have to get rid of this. Okay, a thing popped up and it distracted me. So, welcome to our first video ever. I am your host, Rigor, and this is Then Is Now Podcast. Then Is Now is the show in which we discuss pop culture of the past and how it relates to the present. We also try to help people to bring young folk up to speed on all the cool stuff that they may have missed out on. That came from the fact that when my kids were born, I felt the need to bring them up to speed on everything. And you know what? When they went through school and high school, they got all the teachers' references. So I think it's really cool and really fun if you listen to Then Is Now Podcast. Now, Then Is Now Podcast is on all the podcasting apps, as well as, of course, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and our sister show, The East Meets the West. I'm sorry, our award-winning sister show, The East Meets the West, is also on all the podcasting apps. And so if you could go there to wherever you download your apps from, especially iTunes, and leave them a great review if you're enjoying the show or shows, that would be helpful because, like, for example, iTunes doesn't put your show in the recommendations list until you get a certain amount of likes. So we really need to bump up those likes. Also on our YouTube page, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell right next to it. That way you'll get notifications whenever we post new videos. You can also visit our website, havenpodcast.com, where we've got both shows you can listen to there on the website, and we've got a lot of other fun stuff there. And we've got a lot of big announcements today and a surprise special guest that's going to join us a little later. So let's get right into it, okay? Now, today I'm joined by my frequent guest co-host, filmmaker Chris Esper. Glad to have you here today, Chris.
Always glad to be back. This is going to be fun.
Awesome. It's going to be total fun. Now, before we get into things, you've got a lot of stuff going on with film festivals and stuff. Do you want to tell the audience about that?
Sure. So, as of recently, I did a short film last year during the. It's so funny how this happened. I was supposed to be doing a short film in New York, New Jersey, something I wrote. I was very excited about it. Then the pandemic hit, and then my co-producer and we decided, we better push this back. So needing a creative outlet, I started converting my family's home movies just for fun, something to do. This is stuff I haven't seen in like 20 years or so. Me as a kid running around, frolicking, doing kid stuff. And so what's amazing is that upon seeing this footage, I looked at it and I went, oh, there's a story here. So then it inspired me to make a documentary about home movies. Got footage from other friends and of their home movies, and I made this little short film called Yesteryear, and it's all about the value of home movies. And the idea is to get that nostalgia upon watching it, much like what we do here with the show. So So that short film was playing at the Chateauguay Film Festival in Massachusetts. That is at
Nice.
the end of this month. And then I have a screenplay that I wrote. Actually, the screenplay I wrote for the film I was going to do in Jersey, that got in as well to the festival. So that's what I have going on.
Excellent, excellent. That's so cool. So I'm just wondering, I'm trying to make sure that the stream is going. I'm pretty sure I see it on YouTube and on Facebook, but I don't know. I'm having trouble. I'm trying to do two things at once here. But Chris, I am so happy for you. That's so awesome.
Thank you.
Now let's see. So, folks, at the top of the show, I referred to Chris as my frequent guest co-host, and you've been with me since October of 2020, right?
Yep.
We started. You did a couple of the 13 days of Hallowtober with me back then,
Sure. Yeah.
and we went on from that, and we started a series within the show where we try to teach young people, or we try to help people get young people into watching horror movies, and we started with the Universal classics. What was the first one we covered?
I believe the first one we covered was I want to say it was either demons, I want to say, or it was something else entirely.
No, that was in the 13 days, but in the Universal ones did all the Dracula movies.
Yes, yes, yes,
That's
yes.
right. And then we did the Mummy, and now
Yeah.
coming up in October will be our third installment of that, which is going to be the Invisible Man films. So those are real fun. I really enjoyed, revisiting those movies. I think some of them were new for you, right?
Yeah, some of them were new for me, such as primarily the Mummy movies. They were very new for me. But like Invisible Man, I've seen not the sequels, but I've seen the original and a couple of others. But yeah, it's been nice to sort of go back, revisit, or in my case, experience these for the first time. And what's really funny is that you talk about introducing young people to this, and you you could say I'm part of that generation because I was born '89, so
Right, right.
just barely made it.
Well, and that's the thing, man, because we got to tell the audience. Chris and I have been we've come up with another series that we're working on, and we've been working like crazy on it. We've been interviewing people, and we are going to tell you about that a little bit later. But I just want to make the official announcement right here and now that uh, Chris has come on board as the official co-host, permanent co-host of Then Is Now podcast. So you can take the accolades. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
Oh man. So welcome aboard, Chris. I'm so
Thank
happy
you.
to have you. And it's funny because hold on, I just check the stream here. Okay. Since the beginning, well, first of all, having you on the show is going to change the dynamic of the show in a great way. It's going to be so different than it was before, and I think having a conversation with someone is a much more interesting show than me just sitting there droning on about stupid crap, because I did a couple episodes by myself early on and they sucked. So having someone to talk to is so much better.
Sure.
Excuse me. And we've been killing it with the guests and that we've been interviewing for our special series, so that's going to come up. But the thing is, from the beginning, I've been wanting someone to join me on the show as a co-host who can talk the talk, who can talk pop culture, movies, TV, what have you, any aspect of pop culture. And man, you fit the bill so well. You keep up with me. If there's a guest or a topic that you don't know about, you do your due diligence and research. And, that really shows through in the episodes that we've done, not just the universal ones, but people will see in our special upcoming episodes. So I just want to say, man, I'm so glad to have you on board. It's going to be so much fun.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and the feeling is mutual. Working together has been a blast. Your knowledge sort of increases my own in a way. Makes me want to. It gives me more of that thirst for knowledge.
Oh
About this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
same here. And it's just funny because like I don't know, things will pop up. I'll make a reference, and you actually get the reference. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I remember, early on being blown away by that.
Right. Right.
So, you know, now that we've got some episodes in the can, actually, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Now we still have some episodes in the can that you're not in, including a good percentage of our 13 days of Hallowtober coming up, which I will talk about later on. So I'm thinking your first official episode's probably not going to premiere till about November.
Mhm.
So just to let everyone know, that's when that's going to happen. And okay, so first off, we have got a big announcement.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. It is our T public page.
That's right, and I'm going to share that right here. And I'm just going to take my camera off. So, folks at home, this is our T Public page. I'm just going to scroll down and show you it's got our logo, which is the same as our website, but hey, economics, man. So right now we've just got our three logos up. We've got the Then Is Now podcast, East Meets the West, and the Haven Podcasts official logo. But what's really cool, see how they're on T-shirts? Along the side here, you can order all kinds of different things. You can get, for example, you can get a curvy T-neck if you wanted, which hopefully that'll load soon. There we go. So that's a curvy T-neck, T-shirt, I should say, V-neck. They got tank tops, they got kids, they got onesies. What parent wouldn't want to get their little kid in our apparel? See that? How cool is that? I'll leave it up a little bit longer so people can gawk. And, you've got everything from mugs to totes, pillowcases, phone cases. Here we go. Who wouldn't want a phone case with our logos on it? And plus, we are going to add stuff to this all the time. There's going to be different images that you'll be able to choose from. And, a little bit later on, you'll be able to get some discounts, and we'll explain about that in just a little bit. So let me switch over to our PowerPoint here, and I'll show you. Got to share that. Folks, we're new at this. So if you want to get to our TeePublic page, you can go to teepublic.com/stores/Haven Podcasts, or you can go right to our website, havenpodcasts.com. And while you're listening to one of our shows there, you can click on the Shop at My Store at TeePublic link. And that's right on the webpage there. And hold on, stop share. I just blew it. I think
Spoiler alert.
I gave away our next big announcement. Man, I told you people that anything could happen. If you saw the picture I posted on Facebook today, anything could happen. So basically, our second big announcement that I hinted back at the top of this video that Chris and I have been working on is a new series called Then Is Now Filmmaker Series. And do you want to tell the folks what that's about, Chris?
Sure. So we basically talk to directors, writers, producers, composers, special effects guys, basically anyone in the business of film and TV. And we get their insights on the process of making a movie or a great TV show. But my question to you is this, Rigar, how can an audience listen to these shows?
Well, I'll tell you in a second here. They can go to Patreon. They could go to havenpodcast.com and click on our Patreon link, or you can go to patreon.com/thenisnowpodcast, and you can, check out a lot of cool stuff that we are going to explain to you. And let's give the folks a little treat here. We're going to play a video for you, and this is from the first guest who is in our filmmaker series that's on Patreon. So we're going to play this video, and you enjoy it. Hey folks, Rigor here. Here's a clip from our brand new filmmakers series that we're doing for Then Is Now podcast. Each episode will have a writer, producer, director, composer, special effects guy, basically anybody who's worked behind the scenes in Hollywood. If you're a film and TV lover, then this series is a must, as our guests have some of the most amazing, informative, and hilarious stories. This special series is available only on Patreon, and you'll get a new show each month. So if you want to hear the full episode, as well as getting cool swag and other fun stuff, please go to havenpodcasts.com and click on the Patreon link, or go to patreon.com/thenisnowpodcast. Now, on with the show.
One other story was, in one scene we had, I know this all got started because I was going to say, it was a terrible script, and a terrible exploitative show. And we thought we were going to be raked over the coals by our cohorts. And it was so humiliating to write this stupid sex bomb show for Mork and Mindy. So we all worked as hard as we could. And believe it or not, I am still proud of that script. Yes, it still has the sex things in it, but it's genuinely funny. Everyone on the show did a really good job because they were so terrified of being humiliated. But anyway, one scene that I think was in the original that sort of made it to the final was that she was going to torture him. How was she going to torture him? As all torture happens, except maybe a Gitmo. I think they didn't do this at Gitmo, which is having a spa, a hot tub, and putting the man in it, and then having the sexiest woman on the planet rub him all over. That was what it was. That was the torture. So hilarious. They played the scene. As I recall, we did have some funny lines in there to try to distract people from the horribleness of the whole thing. But anyway, it was over, and Howard Storm, the director, said, "Okay, that's a wrap. Let's go to the next scene." And Robin called out, and he said, "Okay, out of the tub, and let's go to the next scene." And Robin said, "I'm afraid we can't do that right now."
Oh man, well, he was happy to see her, you know.
He was very happy to see her.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today, our special guest today, is a talented writer. He's a comedy writer. He's written for such amazing shows as Mork and Mindy and Police Squad and Duckman. And, he's just an all-around great guy. Mr. David Mish. Welcome,
Hi.
David.
Hello.
Oh, man. Glad you could join us today.
Yes.
I'm happy to do so. I was just standing here doing nothing, just staring at the screen, hoping something would happen. And it did. So it's like a miracle. God, I am hearing another audio feed. Oh, wait, I know what it is.
You're watching it on
YouTube. So I'm turning it off. That's better.
I feel like I'm having issue with it on Facebook, but I
I am on Facebook and nothing happened.
Yeah, it's not streaming on Facebook, it looks like. Something happened.
But you got 50% of your attempted connection. So that's
it ain't half bad.
If you were a baseball player, you'd be in the Hall of Fame instantly.
Yeah, that's so weird. But thanks for joining us, man. We're just telling the audience that we're doing the special filmmaker series for Patreon where we talk to writers, directors, producers, all those guys. And, yours is the first one up. Yours is the first episode. So people should get into Patreon and check it out, because we had so much fun. As I told you off mic, I had to split it into 2 episodes because we talked for almost 3 hours.
Yes.
Yeah. I forgot that. Lucky I'm retired and have nothing to do. But anyway, and they should really, aside from my brilliant conversation this very moment, it's, you just have to prove that there's something great that's going to happen. So I can tell you a story. I was going to the grocery store yesterday and then decide, we have enough food, so I didn't go. But we more like that.
That's awesome.
Actually, I'm trying to remember one of my brushes with greatness. Oh, I can tell a story I didn't tell on the podcast if you want to hear.
Please.
Sure.
This is not anything to do with Mork and Mindy, but when I was about 10 or 11 years old, my parents took me and my brother to for a vacation in Florida at the Hotel Fontainebleau, which at that time was the most famous hotel in Miami Beach, I think. They shot movies there, and in fact, I was in a movie that was shot there. It's called The Lady in Cement, starring Frank Sinatra and Raquel Welch. And I played 2 roles. I played 11-year-old boy sitting under diving board as establishing shot for the pool is made. And I also played 11-year-old boy sitting on beach as Frank Sinatra runs by, but runs by in such a way that he completely obscures 11-year-old boy sitting on the beach. But even a greater story is that one night, Donald, my brother, and I were bored, and we heard there was a dance for teens, so we went to it, and it was boring. There were no girls. So we went to the hotel, shop, and they had some comic books there, so we got some comic books. And Donald got a Three Stooges comic book, which I thought was pretty weird because we watched the Stooges, but I think like many people who watch the Stooges, we were hypnotized by the idea of three grown men acting like idiots, but we never actually laughed. It wasn't a matter of being funny, it was a matter of being, is this actually happening? Anyway, so we got the magazine. And we go in the elevator and we're standing there facing forward as one does in the elevator. And a voice comes from behind us. I don't know how we got on and didn't notice there were two people already there, but I think probably our noses were in our books. And a voice comes from behind and below me, says, "Pretty good comic, eh, kid?" And we turn around and there below us with his arm around a tall woman, meaning his arm was like this, was Mo Howard, who, you know, was short. He was like 5'6", or he was shorter than us 11-year-old boys. And so he said, "Pretty good comic book, eh, kids?" And we were both starstruck instantly. We turned to dust and actually we turned to stone. And we couldn't formulate any intelligent or unintelligent response until my brother, now a psychiatrist, came up with this. He said, "How's tricks?" And then the door opened and they left. And for the next 20 or so years, I was able to torment him almost daily by saying, "Hey, Donald, how's tricks?" That was our celebrity encounter.
Awesome. That's amazing. And you know, it's funny. You mentioned the movie Lady in Cement, and I don't love that movie. I think it's great, but I love the soundtrack. I've had the soundtrack for years.
I haven't seen it since the first time it was on TV.
It was Dan Blocker was in that.
Oh, but yes, that's right. Haas.
Haas
from
got
Bananas.
right. So, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, real quick, I'm putting the YouTube link on Facebook here because apparently our Facebook, it says it's streaming. It said it went live, and there's like a minute and a half there on Facebook. So I apologize to all the listeners who are freaking out because you're missing out on your Then Is Now and David Mish, for God's sakes.
I'm still not seeing. You know, I can be your tech person here, and it's still not happening on Facebook that I can see.
No, I'm posting the. I just posted the link to YouTube.
Oh, I see.
Otherwise, I'd have to stop this stream, and it would interrupt the YouTube stream, which is working fine.
Yeah.
So
no problem.
Hopefully people will get the hint. It's just a matter of, you know, I posted both links in the invite or whatever you call it, the event thing. So people should be able to figure it out if they're reasonably intelligent. Oh man. So David, what's been going on lately?
Oh, nothing much. There was an election in California, I read. I'm actually one of the shows I worked on, Duckman, like so many shows, is attempting to reboot, and it's out to various services at the moment, and we'll see if they respond. But for the many of you who I'm sure remember Duckman, you know that Duckman was deliberately an awful, I can't say human being, an awful creature. He was racist, sexist, any otherist, really. He just was horrible, and that was the fun of it, because we didn't at least think we were racist or sexist, but we had great fun playing one on TV. So it was really great. You know, it's basically the Archie Bunker principle on All in the Family, which is you mock someone by portraying them accurately, and everyone sees how horrible they are, and therefore you learn that's not a good way to be, and also have a chuckles in the process. But the problem is that the world has moved on, and even fake misogyny is not considered to be very much fun anymore. So it's a real question whether Duckman will sell. Jason Alexander, who did the voice, is wildly on board, very, very helpful to us. He was always a huge fan. He did another show at the same time. I can't remember what it was. I think Michael Richards was in it, something like that. But
I think
anyway,
so.
I think maybe he did well. Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld. That's right. I forgot.
Oh, Jerry Seinfeld. I was mentioning Jerry Stiller.
Yeah, Jerry Stiller was in it. Yeah, he was the big name, I think. But in any case, he came over after shooting that all day and spent an hour and a half doing our show, and was always incredible, wonderful. And we also had Tim Curry, who sadly is no longer with us, but he played a recurring character named King Chicken. And we had a huge, great guest list. Ben Stiller did one of my shows, and Heather Locklear, who was very big at the time. And we didn't all come to all the recording sessions, but for some reason, everyone came to that recording session. Also, Kim Cattrall, who I came simply to lust over. And then it turned out, because I was not a huge Sex and the City fan, she was a great actress. She was like one of the few guest stars who came in completely prepared, meaning not only had she read the script, she had clearly worked out beats for the script, an arc for the character, and she did it great. So she was so good, I almost stopped staring at her lasciviously. Didn't quite, but almost. And that's who are some of the other? Oh, we had James Brown, who arrived at the studio, which was on Highland Boulevard in Hollywood, which is a very, very busy street. And you had to make a left turn if you came from the direction he was coming to get into the studio. And you may say, why is that relevant, Mr. Mish? And the reason is he evidently called up the LAPD and got a police escort so he wouldn't have trouble making the left turn. He also came with 2 bodyguards and 6 6-foot-tall women. He took me aside right before the recording session itself, and he said, and I'm going to do my best James Brown here. He said, David, he sounded exactly like me. Who knew? David, I'm interested in doing an animated show. Would you work on that? And I said, sure. Last I ever heard. But anyway, it was exciting to have a legend in the studio.
That's awesome. I think the show was called
Well, we did. His bit was Duckman was being in a house, and he was wanted by the police, and so they come there with a bullhorn. They say, Duckman, come out, and he isn't responding, so they give it the bullhorn to James Brown, and he goes, huh, Duckman, give yourself up. Huh, Duckman, give yourself up. And he did it great.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's funny.
Wow. What was Tim Curry like?
Oh, he was great. And I do have a great Tim Curry story. So unlike The Simpsons, we couldn't afford to bring the cast together. We just got them whenever they were available, and they did their bit and then they left, and they did it with no one else there. Right. But we did one episode that was sort of like a play. It was done real time, and it was just 4 characters, and we really wanted to get all 4 in the studio. But the last minute, one of them couldn't make it, Nancy Travis, who then lately has been on Last Man Standing. But she's, again, a wonderful actress and gorgeous. Anyway, she couldn't make it that day, and we just had Jason and Tim and Greg Berger, who played another role. It was wonderful. Anyway, so beforehand, just because it's polite to do, I went to Tim and I said, we only have 3 people here today. Would you like us to have the casting director read Nancy's part, or should we just leave a gap, and when you come to her line, we skip over it? And he thought for a moment and said, does it affect my salary? In other words, I don't give a shit. That's British for I don't give a shit.
Right.
Anyway, he was great. He said, he told us that when the scripts came in for Duckman, unlike, I guess, many of the other scripts he got, he and his assistant would battle over who got to read it first. They would
That's
get
awesome.
into physical pushing matches. So that made us feel great.
Oh, yeah. That's got to. So, folks, I don't want to give too away from our official interview with David that we did, but I did wonder if you maybe had a Leslie Nielsen story to share with us.
Well, the main thing, which everyone in showbiz knows, and many people not in, but not all, Leslie was addicted to stupidity. I think he was long before he ever became a comedy actor in his long dramatic career, 30 or 40 years. But then when he switched to comedy later in his life, starting with Airplane, and then with Police Squad, which is the show not unlike Airplane that we did a few episodes for ABC many a year ago, but I think they're all available on YouTube. anyway, so I met him, and we and I learned very quickly that when you shake hands with Leslie, you get a joy. It's a joy buzz, and then there's a zzz went your hand, and then anytime you sit in a room where Leslie Nielsen has been, there's a whoopee cushion under your ass. He would always put a whoopee cushion where someone was going to sit, and he laughed and laughed at the joy buzzer and the whoopee cushion. They were the funniest things ever. And everyone, of course, who experienced them went like this. They're not actually funny. For Leslie, they were. So that was him. But he was great on the show. He did everything great, and he got, I guess, near instantaneously the idea that ZAZ, Zucker, Abrams Zucker, the writers and directors and producers, had with Airplane, which is it's only funny if you take it seriously.
Right.
If you try to make it funny, it isn't funny. And he got it, and he did it great. Don't call me Shirley.
Right.
His famous line, and he did it brilliantly, and he did them all brilliantly. And it was interesting on the series because we would get top directors. Joe Dante did one, and some really good actors. And some of them got it, and some of them didn't. Some of them tried to play the comedy, and they had to be quickly disabused of that.
Oh man, did you ever get to meet? I forget the actor's name. The guy that played the shoe shine guy. I know we talked about.
Yeah, I don't think I ever talked with him. That's a fine story about how stupid I am. We were talking in the very early days about it, and I said, this shoe shine boy, it's a great gag. I love it, but then it's in every episode, and everyone will know it's coming, and they already get it. It feels like it's just going to be repetitious, and it won't be funny. And they said, no, we think it'll work. And to this day, it's one of the things people, when I mention I'm on Police Squad, Johnny the Shoe Shine Boy, that's the greatest thing. I love it. So fuck me.
Oh man, that's so funny. So yeah, you worked on a lot of stuff. You even did the Great Muppet Caper. You did.
No.
Muppet Steak Manhattan.
Muppet Steak Manhattan.
Muppet Steak Manhattan. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
I really love the Great Muppet Caper.
Yes, very good movie.
Yeah. I actually like it more than the Muppet Steak Manhattan. Frank and I had a little disagreement. I talk about this in the interview where he wanted it to have a lot of heart, and I wanted it to have a lot of silly. And he was the director, so that's that. And a lot of my pretty much all my silly bits didn't make it into the movie. Afterwards, a couple of years later, he said to me that he thought maybe it should have been a little more deliberately funny in places.
Right.
But many people just love the movie, and I couldn't be happier. Yeah. It's just not, ironically, as directly up my alley as Muppet Caper was.
Right.
So
they've been trying to bring the Muppets back quite a bit off and on over the last decade or so.
Success.
Yeah. Do you think you'd ever jump on board if you were asked?
I tried. They didn't have me. I think I was too old for them. But I watched a little of the new series. What was it, 3, 4, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
And I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I knew, of course, it's all without Jim Henson, which it was tricky, but not impossible. And then the first Muppet movie, I thought, the first new Muppet movie with Jason Sudeikis. No.
Jason Segel.
Yeah.
I thought was good. Not great, but good. And the second one, not so good.
Yeah.
And I think the franchise re-died. And it will take animated at this point. But they're iconic, and hopefully they'll live forever from what they already did, which was 20, 25 years of material, and they may well come back again. But without Jim and Frank, because Frank left a number of years ago too to be a absolutely spectacular movie director, and without them, I think maybe some of the spark is not there.
Yeah.
But who knows? People, you can find spark in a lot of places. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of spark, I wanted to cut over here for a little bit and tell our audience about our Patreon that we've got going on. Do you want to hang around, David, and maybe you can poke fun at it, and maybe it'll jog your memory on some funny stories?
Patreon, that's stupid. That's the kind of satire I'm into. Maybe I'll turn off my camera and just hurl occasional insults from the side.
Cool. This shouldn't take us too long. So, folks, if you're willing to donate a small amount of money each month, you're going to get some fabulous stuff. Um, I sound like I'm on PBS, shilling for money.
And viewers like you.
And viewers like you.
Yes.
Oh, man. I want my Doctor Who, okay? I want my British comedies. So there's 4 levels to this, and I'm going to cut over to the slideshow here that I already ruined the surprise on. And I'm going to mute my own camera here. And then, okay. So we've got, we've told you already, if you go to havenpodcast.com or patreon.com/thenisnowpodcast, we've got 4 tiers. And the first tier is the vinyl record level. So, Chris, do you want to tell us about that? Chris?
For $3, you will be listed as co-executive producer on the show, and each month your name will be published in the list on our website, in our monthly newsletter, and as a thank you on our social media.
And you'll get a free copy of the collected Lawrence Welk albums. Okay, so I'm kidding, of course. We have no rights to the Lawrence Welk property. So tier 2 is $5, and that's the drive-in theater level. And hold on, let me switch the slide here. And you'll get everything from tier 1. Plus, you receive our new monthly special PDF newsletter all about our shows and updates on pop culture. It's going to contain short articles about all aspects of pop culture, what's going on in the world in terms of pop culture, and most likely retrospects on cool stuff that we grew up with, as well as spotlights on other podcasts, all kinds of stuff, horror hosts, you name it, we'll be covering it throughout the year. In addition, you'll also have the ability to submit suggestions for show topics and or guests that you'd like us to try to book on the show. And if your topic is discussed or the guest you suggested is booked, if they agree to actually come on this nickel and dime show, we'll give you a shout out on that episode. Plus, you'll get a 10% coupon code for our TeePublic page. And then let's switch over here to the 3rd level. Now that's
the 3rd level, that is our Fonzie level. It's a VIP for a donation of $10. On the Fonzie level, you get everything from level 1 and 2, plus the following. That is now sticker, access to our special Filmmaker Series episodes, which are exclusively only for our Patreon subscribers. When we originally planned to release excuse me. Since we have so many episodes in the can and we're continuing to book guests, we might end up posting more than once per month. So you'll get some great value here. Then pop the question. Since the show is about pop culture and all guests have some pop culture relevance, we will post the names of upcoming guests, and you can send us up to 2 questions for them. If your question is chosen, your name will be mentioned when we ask it. Now, we already got 9 in the can, but you'll also post upcoming guests. And our regular show, you can submit questions to. And every other month, your name will be entered into a drawing to receive a free mug. Also, 20% coupon code at TeePublic.
Awesome. And then we'll go over here to tier 4, which is the superhero level. It makes you an ultra VIP. And at the ultra VIP level, you get everything from the first 3 levels. Plus, you're going to get a cool item quarterly. That means every 3 months you get one of 4 items. It could be a mug, a neck gaiter, a t-shirt, a tote bag, plus 30% coupon code for TeePublic. So it's like you get 4 presents to yourself all year long. And what's cool is we'll be adding a Discord server in the future. We've got all kinds of things that we're going to add on, but I did want to mention that the and let's see if I have it. Oh, here we go. This is actually, let's show you guys these here. Let's show everyone these items first. English, please. We've got mugs, lots of mugs. You can slap our logo. Well, you're going to get these logos. If you went to TeePublic and got a mug, you could pick the logo, but you're going to get what Patreon picks for you. But it's free. You get it after 3 months. Then you get these neck gaiters. Where did they come up with that name, gator?
I have
never
no
even heard of
idea.
it. I didn't know they were called that until I went to choose them for the Patreon.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell is a gator? What the hell is he talking about?
But I'm just hoping that that blonde chick comes with it when you get it in the mail.
Right?
So.
Yeah.
And then look at this. You can use it to tie your hair off, I guess. I would have never thought of that.
Can you even see the logo in that? I mean,
Exactly. What the heck's the point? Well, you get the comfort of knowing that
That
Then
it's
Is
on
Now
there.
podcast
Yeah.
is tying your hair off.
it's tying
nice
your
and
hair
neat.
off. Yes.
And then we've got t-shirts, of course. And look at those people. Look at how happy they are. That's what Haven Podcast does.
They are
It brings-
happy listeners. Yes.
We bring joy to the world with our shows. So so let's switch back here. I have one more item. The totes. I forgot about that. You can carry a tote even if you have only half a head. You can get one of our cool tote bags. And I really like that they pick that logo to go in the tote because it kind of fills it up nicely, you know.
Do you have it up? I can't see it.
Oh, you can't see. Oh, did I take it off? Hold on. I accidentally took us off. All right, there we go.
There
How
we
about
are.
that?
There we go.
So, like I said, if you have half a head, you can have a tote. And this one's got both of our shows on there. The Then Is Now podcast and the East the Meets of the West. We talk about the spaghetti westerns. So that's basically it. I'm gonna switch back to live, and because we know exactly what we're doing here in at the thing. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go back. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back one more time to share this slide. I didn't want to give away a slide
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Yes.
The T Public coupon codes are only good until the end of this year, 2021. If T Public already has a sale going on, you can't use the code. But there's still 3 months left in this year. And we'll have new coupon codes for you next year. So if you stick with Patreon, you can get some pretty good discount and get some cool merch. And I think it works not just for our stuff, but you can use it all over the website, right, Chris?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty damn cool, if you
Yeah.
ask me. And I know I had something else I was going to say, but I forgot what it was. So let's move on. We'll go back to us, and I'll get my camera back up here. I assure you, folks, we actually do know what we're doing here. So, I already said all that. So, David, what did you think of our 4 tiers of Patreon?
Let's hear the insults.
Yeah. We're hockey
Well, I
pucks, right?
think where am I? 1 second. There I am. I think it would have been better with 5, but sure, go with 4. My daughter's on Patreon. She's an opera singer, and she and her partner do operas more or less monthly. Just 2 people. It's still pandemic related, so they're locked in
Right.
a room. But they bought a bunch of equipment and have been doing really great. And I think a modest number of people watching, but it's a nice addendum to one's income, if I can use that word. And I wish you luck with it. I meant to ask, you're on a Discord server now? That's not
No, not yet. We're going to
might
be doing that in a few months.
right, but isn't that the right wing thing, or am I mistaken?
I don't think it's political at all. It's for kids who like to play video games, but it's a
Okay.
kind of a community thing.
Okay. I'm sure there's, I'm thinking of something else, I guess. Anyway, yeah, cool.
I think I know which one you're thinking of. It's the one that they all jumped over to after they got kicked off
Yeah.
of Twitter or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
no,
I
that's
think
not
it has
Discord.
the same name, but it's a different thing, I guess.
Yeah, Discord is Like there's other podcasts that I listen to that belong to a network, and all their shows have like a page on it, and there's all kinds of conversations going on. You're talking about whatever the shows are talking about, you know.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
So, no, all right, David, I got to ask you. Seems like you're familiar with Patreon. Our goal is to try and get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Do you think that's too lofty?
Not if you count each subscriber as 10.
Oh, there you go.
That should be relatively easy. No, I have no idea. It really depends. How many people you got now? I mean, there are not a huge number watching this particular moment in time.
Right.
So let me see. What is it now?
Sure, make us feel.
Yeah, we
bad.
have two. We have two, and one of them
You
is
got
me.
two. Yes.
Oh.
Well, we are recording this.
1,499 more in order to meet your goal, and that would assume they all would pay a monthly fee, which might not be true. But with incredible interviews like mine and my friend Ed Sharlock, who was one of the producers of Mork and Mindy, and Bruce Boxleitner, Brooks Botleitner, I wanted to say. But anyway, and Larry Mathers and such, Jerry Mathers. Ooh. Yeah. Anyway, you may well have a shot. So I certainly wish you luck and the best.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we wanted. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, no, that's it.
I was just going to say, some of the people we've had on besides yourself and Ed Sharlock, we've had Eddie Yang, director Fred Olin Ray, John Massari, who he did the music for Killer Clowns from Outer Space, right, Chris?
Yep, Killer Clowns, and was it a Speaking
I got to
Tom?
break in with Fred Olin Ray. I watched his movies because I was a degenerate young man. They were shot for, I think, over $10 or $12 per movie. Given that budget, he did quite a job. And so he's alive, but I'm guessing he's fairly elderly.
He didn't seem it.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
my God. Well, okay, maybe. Cool.
He's
I
been,
think his
he's,
first. What, Chris?
he's been doing this for a while, yeah. But I think his first movie was in like the early '80s. I want to say.
I was going to
think
say like
really-
78.
Oh, 78. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like the Alien Factor. I want to say was the first.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
okay.
even then, he had already been an actor for a number of years. So I'm guessing he was at least in his late 20s or 30s. So it's difficult to keep films in your 70s. But do you know, is he still working? Is he still getting things?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, still very much working.
Really?
Yeah.
He kind of switched over. He's doing like, was it like Hallmark Channel Christmas movies or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
He oddly enough, he even did one with Chevy Chase. I remember a few Christmases ago, my father had on Hallmark Channel when I was over the house, and I see Chevy Chase. I'm like, what the hell is he doing in a Christmas movie? And then I see the credits come up, directed by Fred Olin Ray. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
I
Okay.
had no idea Chevy did a Hallmark movie. I'm astonished.
Yeah.
And, after Community, which was a mixed experience, pretty famously, he did not get along with the rest of the cast and crew, nor they him. Nonetheless, he did a great job on the show, and I would have thought that would have made his star rise a bit. But if he's doing Hallmark movies, the rise was not huge. I worked with Chevy briefly because, and this is not in the interview, I wrote a script for Warner Brothers, which they loved, and it was called Girl Grabbers from Outer Space. It was essentially a comedy version of Mars Needs Women. I still love it. Wonderful script. Anyway, at that time, Chevy Chase was the biggest comedy star in the world. And they sent it to him and he loved it. And he and I worked together for a little bit. I went over to his house and schmooze, nice guy. But then his manager and my producer had a big fight and the whole thing fell apart.
Oh.
But anyway, Ian, there are a million ways to not get your movie made. And
That's hilarious.
pretty much only one to get it made, which
That's
is
right.
incredible luck and money.
I
and
looked it up. Fred Olin Ray is 67 years old.
He's
Wow.
younger than me.
Wow.
I'm horrified. Ay. Anyway, he's still working. And does it say the Hallmark movie there?
Well, let me switch back over to it. Whoopsie. He's got a bunch of them. He's still doing them. He's got The last one was The Killer in My Backyard, but before that was A Royal Christmas Engagement.
But those are all Hallmark movies
I think so. Was it Hallmark or what's
I
the
think it
other
was
channel?
Hallmark. Yeah.
Yeah,
or Lifetime, something like that.
yeah.
But because back in the 80s, 90s, he did mostly quasi exploitation films. They
Oh,
were
yeah.
sort of girls and guns kind of things.
The Girl from Bikini, Super Ninja Doll, Bewitched Housewives.
Yeah.
But then he also did like Tomb of the Werewolf and The Legend of William Tell,
Huh.
So, well, David, thank you so much for joining us. It was such a pleasure, and I know when people see this in the record version, they'll really love you.
And we may double or even triple our audience that way. So
Exactly.
That's right.
We might get all 12.
all righty. Great seeing you guys, and
Yeah.
good luck with everything.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thanks a lot, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So just to finish off the list of people we've got, we said
Yes.
John Massari,
Yep.
Steve Wilson,
hmm
and which was Steve Wilson?
Steve Wilson, he was a screenwriter. He had written Tremors.
That's right.
It's 4 sequels.
Yep.
4 of the sequels. He didn't do the last 2,
Right.
unfortunately. He co-wrote those with Brent Maddock. The 2 of them also wrote Short Circuit 1 and 2.
That's
Barry's Not Included.
Yeah.
They did a little bit of work on Land Before Time. Infamously, they also worked on Ghost Dad and Wild Wild West.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting interview. I
Very
just for
interesting.
some reason blanked on his name.
Yeah. Well, he also goes by
We had Trent
S.S.
Harris.
Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah. Trent Harris, who you could tell us about him too.
Yeah, so Trent Harris is a independent underground filmmaker who is probably most well known for the film The Beaver Trilogy, which are 3 separate short films, all of which essentially have the same story. One is a documentary, and the other 2 are fictional stories of the same exact thing. It's very
Right.
surreal when you watch all 3 together, and it chronicles the life of the Beaver Kid, who was this interesting, lack of a better word, character or person who would do an act where he would dress as Olivia Newton-John, would call himself Olivia Newton-John, and sing one of her famous songs. And of course, at the time he did it, this is the late 70s, he was met with a lot of controversy about it because he was basically dressing in drag. Of course, it was a different time, but so watching those films now, it's amazing. You're watching it with a 2021 perspective, and more, because I'm sure people back then who watch it now, they're probably a lot more open-minded, I'm sure, about, doing that. But it was funny. It was a brilliant act, I thought.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And he was a great interview.
Yeah.
Then we also have Jacob Brillar and David Jingo, who made a film called Unblinded, which is on Amazon. And we did actually, Chris, I already apologized to you in person.
Yeah.
I did one without you. I was talking to this one guest that hasn't come up yet on the regular show, and we ended up doing a whole show on Ray Dennis Steckler, who is also known for his exploitation films.
Right.
And he is no longer with us, so it was kind of a retrospective kind of thing.
Yeah.
So let's wrap this up pretty soon. I know that we've been here for almost an hour. Coming up, we've got 13 Days of Hallowtober, which last year we did the scariest movies of all time. And this year the theme is modern zombie films, meaning not the older like Bela Lugosi voodoo zombies, but these are the films that came after George Romero's 1968 Night of the Living Dead, in which he set up all the rules for modern zombies. And so these are films that have come since then. Since then, we're covering things like modern ones like Army of the Dead or Shaun of the Dead, but we've been going back further. So that's going to be fun. It's the last 13 days of October. There'll be an episode every day and a different movie every day, and it's going to be wicked fun. And tell them about our next thing.
Yeah, so we got Then Is Now Hollywood Stories, which is a video series where we talk to guests such as David Mish, and they tell us about their funniest and most interesting stories, particularly from old Hollywood. These will be short videos that will hopefully come out weekly, probably like 5-minute videos, and they'll be incredibly fun and fascinating. They'll be available to the general public.
Yep. Yep. And they're short and sweet. They're not like our 2.5 hour long episodes.
Right. Although those are great too.
Yeah. And I'd love to build the audience and do more live shows like this. Maybe we can get a guest on once in a while, you know. We've also got a series on our website called Cinema Enigmatico, which I think I've only done like 2 of them. It's Italian for obscure movies, and I have a handful in the can that I want to start doing, and I'd like to do more of those moving forward. So we'll figure that out. And I got some silly ideas for videos, but I'm not going to tell anyone yet. And then the last thing I wanted to get to is if folks don't know it right now. I'm sorry, I was looking at switching it up. We've also got what's called the Retro TV Guide and Vintage Movie Ads page, and basically I'm going to call that up here so you guys can see it. And it's on Facebook. And I'm going to mute my camera here and give it a second to load. Okay, so basically I scan in TV guides because I have all the time in the world to do all this stuff. So I scan in TV guides and vintage movie newspaper ads, which for those young folk at home, when a movie came out in the past, they would put an ad for it in the movie section of something called a newspaper. It's this thing made out of paper that would tell you news. And
you're gonna have to fill me in on that. I don't know what that is.
You youngins, get off my lawn!
Right?
Get off my virtual lawn. So I'm just scrolling through the page here, beyond all the blah blah blah, to show you the kind of stuff that we post. Like I post TV guide pictures. Come on, you can come up. The computer's running slow. It's getting tired. It's been a long night. So this will bring you back to this old thing called the TV Guide, and it would show you everything on all the channels in your local area from 4 a.m. one day till 4 a.m. the next day. And TV Guide was fun. So I think older people really get a kick out of this. There's a lot of talking, got a lot of discussion going on. Like this was an ad for a movie with Sam Elliott and Catherine Ross called The Legend of Maggie Walsh, which I actually never heard of. It was a TV movie. And then for cable TV subscribers only, Creature Double Feature Saturdays at 1 p.m. only on cable channel 56. So that was a Boston special. But that was from a Maine newspaper. Oh, I also post our Venice Now episodes on the Retro TV Guide and ads page. So it's a lot of fun. So check that out. We love to build up our followers. Look at this one. I posted an article. Theater owner is sentenced to prison because he showed the sex film The Devil and Miss Jones, and they found it obscene. And I love how they say an all-male jury found the sex film Devil and Miss Jones obscene. What's wrong with those guys?
Yeah, right.
What did he get? The jury, which viewed the film during the course of the 3-day trial. Wonder how many times they watched it. They deliberated for about 3 hours, probably watching it once again.
Right.
And then they basically slapped a $3,000 fine on him.
Wow.
It's so stupid. So let's see if I can just scroll real quick. I hope this is not going too fast for people. So here, I got another TV Guide ad here, and it has Abbott and Costello Go to Mars on Boston's Channel 38, and after that, Fantastic Voyage. So a lot of fun stuff. A lot of people will post stuff on here as well, which is kind of cool. And so that's what we got going on over at what is it called? Facebook.
That thing that we're not on right now.
No kidding. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh man, I'm just so embarrassed. But so let's wrap this up. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
No. I mean, this has been a blast.
Yeah. It's been so much fun. So, folks, please check out our website at havenpodcast.com. You can look us up on Facebook, as I mentioned, even if the videos don't work all the time. We've got a group and a page. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. So check out our YouTube page, which we know that worked. So you need to subscribe to YouTube.
When in doubt, YouTube it out.
That's right.
That's
right.
Yeah.
And where else is the show found, Chris?
The show is also on the big three podcasting apps: iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher.
Yep, as well as any podcasting app that you have.
Yep.
We're on there. And we just want to mention again, if you're listening to the podcast, whatever app you're using, in particular iTunes, please, if you like what you're hearing, give us a great review, because the more good reviews we get, the higher they'll put us up into the recommendations. So if someone types in something that's similar, they'll see our show, and we want to build the audience that way. So yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Thanks for joining me, Chris. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
And let's spread the word.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Take care.
All right. Take care.
All right. Oops. Hold on. Let's do the freeze frame like